I'm horrified. And we're back to our daily segment of Michelle Obama's terrible, terrible life. Boo effing who.
People line up for my advice. Mm-hmm. And you're walking away like I'm stupid. It's like, I've written books. I've given speeches.
Why don't we choose more carefully who we're going to lionize? Not just us, but like the Harvards and the MITs of the world. Look how they lionized Epstein, not to mention the Bill Clintons. Why don't we?
All right, let's get right into it. Michelle Obama, the former First Lady, is opening up in a way that's got people talking. She's sharing some surprisingly raw and personal insights about marriage and motherhood that are striking a chord with some and rubbing others the wrong way. In a recent podcast, she really put it all out there, speaking honestly about the emotional toll of being both a wife and a mother, and she doesn't sugarcoat it. She talks about how having kids doesn't just change your life, it seriously shakes the foundation of your marriage. We're not talking about small challenges here. Michelle's describing the kind of deep, lasting strain that takes real work to push through.
And we're back to our daily segment of Michelle Obama's terrible, terrible life. Boo effing who. She went on a podcast called Diary of a CEO. It's kind of rings a bell like a founder kind of situation. And once again, wants you to know how awful it is to be married with children.
There are just many natural reasons why marriage, infertility, trying to have kids makes things difficult. It's like, I try to tell couples, of course it's hard. Just listen to what I said, right? Like, it's probably, if you're having some issues in your marriage, it's not you, it's the process of marriage. It's just all hard, because guess what happens when it all works out right? You know what you end up with? Babies. Little people with their own sense of everything. They mess you up. You love them dearly, but they're a hassle.
What? I mean, there's something wrong with this person. Like, she's seriously depressed. She has the most negative, dark outlook on life I've ever heard from a public figure. Certainly one who's been given so much. Okay, her window into motherhood and having a child, the first thing she says, they mess you up. They mess you up. Maybe that's what happened to her. Maybe she was totally delightful before the two daughters came along. I don't know. She clearly is not enjoying motherhood and enjoying being in a marriage.
It feels like every time Michelle Obama opens up, the picture she paints isn't exactly sunshine and rainbows. At this point, should we even be surprised? Enter Megyn Kelly. Her response? Pretty sharp. She's tapping into this growing wave of frustration, calling Michelle's remarks a bit over the top. According to Megyn, it sounds like Michelle's leaning a little too hard into the negativity, and that take is stirring the pot in a big way. And just like that, the public is buzzing again, and not all of it's positive. Quick favor, if you're into content that cuts through the noise and keeps it 100% real, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. No pressure, I'll wait. Already subscribed? You're the MVP. Welcome to the crew. Now let's jump back in, shifting gears from Michelle Obama's raw revelations to the bigger picture. We're diving into the whirlwind of controversy that's followed and unpacking why it's got so many people fired up.
I've been married twice. And I get along with my ex-husband. But I can tell you that in my marriage to Doug, which is now in year 18, it's not hard at all. It's totally delightful. If you marry the right person, and by the way, my ex-husband is happily married now too. If you marry the right person, it's not hard. You don't talk about it this way. It's not to say you never have a hard spot, but she talks about like the whole institution is a nightmare. Poor Michelle Obama. And then you have the babies and they mess you up. They F up a mother. I mean, this woman needs an intervention. She needs our help. Okay, and that's not all. She can't make fun of herself. This has been obvious for years. She's incapable of laughing at her own expense, which is an absolutely dreadful quality in a person. Like, I don't think I could hire a person who works for me who doesn't have that ability. I think it's a sign of intelligence when you can, and it's definitely a sign that you have a strong id. Like, you know who you are, and you cannot be easily moved off of that by detractors or anyone else. You have a strong moral core. She doesn't have it. That's why she's so thin-skinned. That's why she hates America. That's why she's obsessed with us being a racist country. Hates America. That's my opinion. seems clear based on her many statements.
Her candid remarks have sparked conversations that go well beyond her own experiences. They've hit on deeper societal issues that people can't just brush aside. At the core, it all comes down to how we, as a society, view marriage and parenthood, especially when those roles are lived out under the intense glare of public scrutiny.
Big debate going on in my comments right now about Barack Obama. A lot of people think that Obama is the one that started the foolishness that we're experiencing right now, and he perpetuated race relations to the level that it is today. The ones who think that he didn't do anything but get elected as a black man, of course, are the liberals and the victim mentality people. And I'm here to tell you that the reality of the matter is he did cause racial division in the United States. Barack Obama is somebody who's well off. He grew up well off. He grew up in a great family. He is the cousin of Dick Cheney. Barack Obama did not experience any of the hardships of what black Americans in the ghetto may or may not have experienced. So after the death of Trayvon Martin, for him to get his privileged ass up there and say the things that he said, instead of being realistic and following the statistical facts, he caused racial division. He validated white supremacy, which is not a problem in the United States. That is a Democrat talking point, which is a boogeyman, meaning it's a mythical monster that doesn't exist, but people still fear it.
All right, let's break this down. Michelle Obama's recent openness about her marriage and the strain parenthood can place on it has stirred up more than just casual conversation. Her honesty has touched a nerve, prompting broader questions about what it really means to navigate marriage and motherhood, especially in the spotlight of public life. By speaking so candidly, she's challenging some long-held societal ideals, particularly the notion that marriage is always solid ground. But what happens when that foundation starts to feel more like quicksand? That's where Megyn Kelly steps in, offering a pointed critique that reflects the frustration some feel. Her commentary doesn't just push back against Michelle's words, it acts as a megaphone for deeper cultural and political tensions simmering beneath the surface. At the heart of it all is a powerful collision of public perception, gender roles, and racial dynamics. The Obamas have long been symbolic, representing hope, progress, and change. But with that symbolism comes scrutiny, and in this post-Obama era, conversations about race often feel more polarized than ever. Which brings us to a lingering, uncomfortable question. How much did Barack Obama contribute to the racial climate we're living in now? For many, Obama's presidency revealed the depth of America's racial divides rather than healing them. High-profile incidents involving law enforcement, for example, became national flashpoints during his time in office. And while some hoped he'd use his platform to push the country toward greater unity, others felt he held back. Too measured, too cautious. Did his presidency bridge the gap or deepen the cracks? That's still up for debate. Now with Michelle, revisiting some of these themes.
He went on to lie about the interactions between the police and the black community, deciding instead of sticking to the reality of the true interactions between black men and the police, he decided to go the way of the propaganda. What he did was empowered a lot of uneducated, ignorant people to do what we have seen uneducated people doing since his presidency. You understand? The cruise ships, the Austin Metcalf debacle, you name it, the summer of burning down cities, the peaceful protests, all that shit like that. Obama was the beginning of that.
Now, let's unpack.
And actually found a way to bitch and moan about how hard it is to live in the White House.
When you walk through a storm, keep your head held high.
Big debate going on in my comments right now